Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today we're going to be revisiting the Ultimates. But first, I just want to remind you guys that there is maintenance in Marvel Future Fight for about 3 hours. It's there in PST, so translate it, convert it into your own time zone, and you'll have an idea of when you cannot play the game. It's just a few short hours, so if those are the hours where you usually do your daily routine, do it before, or, you know, set up a time to do it afterwards. So that's that. And now this is this. We're going to be diving into all 3 of the Ultimates, seeing if they can provide some value in PvE with the new Striker bonuses. Now, this video is not meant to encourage you to build up the Ultimates if you don't have them. It's also not a video to encourage you to give them CTPs of energy. They all have CTPs of energy because of the discount. I'm just doing this for fun. I'm just doing this for science and my own personal curiosity. But keep in mind, all that being said, keep in mind, if you have excess pink antimatter, if you don't have anything else to use it on, I would recommend using it to get universal biometrics, to get some bios. As you can see here, I got one for, I almost got one for each, but I got one for Blue Marvel and one for Anti-Man. Just now and then, you know, slowly grind up the Ultimates if you can. I wouldn't spend any money, but if you can, I wouldn't spend any rank up tickets, okay? Because in the future, they will get a buff, and when they get a buff, they will become very, very good. Let's just put it that way. They are extremely strong characters given their base abilities. You know, they've got penetration, they've got self buffs, they've got continuous damage skills like continuous beams, they've got crazy tier 2 passives with tons of different effects. They were meant to be a huge power creep when they were introduced into the game. They were one of the most obvious, one of the most blatant power creeps in Marvel Future Fight, and they stayed that way for a while until we got tier 3s, and then they started to lose their value a little bit, but still, they dominated the game easily for 6+ months. So we're going to dive into some World Boss Ultimate. We're going to see how they do with the new Striker changes. First up, we got Nova with Nick Fury lead and Shuri for the double support. Keep in mind, Nova has a lot of ignore dodge with his passives and the CTP of energy, so he does not need a ton of Strikers. He really only needs 2. So we're going to proc on his 3rd skill, and then we're going to try and use the 2nd skill. We want to use the 2nd skill because it has all defense down, and so it's going to synergize. We're actually going to try to proc on his 2nd skill. We want to synergize with Weapon Hex's Striker bonus, but it doesn't seem to be working that well. There, we missed our proc. That damage is actually pretty good. Oh, we got... Oh, she just dropped the all defense down. That was not bad at all. Wow. So he can do it, eh? That's crazy. Wow. So the thing is with Nova, so he's got super fast base speed, base movement speed. You can see it's like super fast. But the thing with Nova, he has the same all defense down as Captain America. But it seems like you're not going to get as much damage out of proccing on his 2nd skill as you would from proccing on his 3rd skill. But there I just completely missed the proc altogether. Yeah, the thing is the 2nd skill just doesn't last long enough. So you just can't get it to proc. So the 3rd skill does seem to be better for that. Maybe if we can do 2 into 3. Yeah, we're just missing the proc too often. Yeah, this doesn't seem to be. Maybe just cancel it a little bit tighter. Nope, we got snared there. Yeah, we're just having a really hard time triggering our proc at all. He doesn't do a lot of damage. He doesn't do a ton of damage. That didn't work either. He's a bit short on survivability as well. That's why we brought along Rachel. But he just doesn't have enough hits. It's surprising. He doesn't have enough hits to consistently trigger the proc. See, sometimes the damage is okay, but we're going to die to bleed here. Yeah. I'm surprised. I thought it would be better than it is. It's really not that bad, but maybe a CTP of Rage would be better. Next up, we got Nova with his CTP of Rage this time around. And the interesting thing I want to test with the CTP of Rage is it's possible, I think, to squeeze in his 2nd skill twice in each Rage proc. If you do 2 and then 3 and then you do 2 again, and if you have high enough attack speed, Yeah, it seems like you can actually get it in twice. So that could actually be really good. And that could actually make him scary strong. Wow, the damage is actually not that bad. A level 60 character with no uniform from 2017. Again, not suggesting that you give him a CTP of Rage at all. There's so many better characters that deserve 1 tier 3 characters, stuff like that, but it's just interesting to see whether characters can stand the test of time. I think more and more often it doesn't seem to be the case that characters stand the test of time, unless they're built, you know, I mean, characters like Silver Surfer, sure, but a lot of other characters, it seems like they leave the meta pretty quickly. Which is interesting. I don't know if it speaks to the game's complexity or if it speaks to the devs' design choices, but like these characters, if any, should stand the test of time because they were designed to be like the ultimate cash grab, right? They were designed with skills and abilities that we had never seen before, or we had only seen very rarely, and never to this extent. We had never seen something like 70% damage reduction, or a skill that dealt this much damage and also had iframe ignore. You know, we had Cyclops with iframe ignore, but his iframe ignore skill did, like, garbage damage. So it's like the trade-off of having such a powerful ability is that you don't do much damage. But dang, I mean, I don't think he can do this, but you could probably go down to stage 50. So maybe an average player could go to like 40. I think I'm gonna die here. An average player could go to like 40 with Nova. That's not bad at all with these new striker changes if you can reliably cast that all defense down and then you can just spam 2. It's an interesting sort of rotation to have your best skill be your second skill. It's definitely unusual. Most characters don't have that. But damn, Nova, yeah, not as bad as I thought. Level 60 Corvus. He actually might be able to do this through and through. Because Corvus loses a lot of defense in the second phase of the fight. And so, yeah, you could basically just shred through this and do it. Next up, we got Anti-Man with She-Hulk lead and Shuri as well. Now, Anti-Man is an interesting character. He still has power. And wow. This is stage 50 Cull Obsidian. We went to a slightly lower stage because Cull Obsidian has higher defenses and more HP than Corvus, but holy cow. I think the strikers are doing a lot of the work here. No offense to Anti-Man, because just now when I stopped attacking, the strikers jumped in and still did like massive damage. But holy cow. Yeah, I have a strong feeling that this is the strikers comboing off each other, which is kind of cool, but it's all, I messed up the rotation there. It's kind of cool to see them doing that, but it's also kind of really confusing because it doesn't give you an accurate representation of the character at all. But listen, the accurate representation of this character is don't use him now. There's so many better characters, and he's level 60 and he has no uniform. You know, he's just kind of he's a character that if you don't have him, don't get him yet, but if you have him, just wait, he'll be good later, kind of thing. Damn, those strikers were nuts. I want to try them one more time with Blue Marvel, but the same exact team, because I'm just shocked at how good they are. Now, Blue Marvel is a bit more awkward. I'm not sure. Whoa, yeah, no, this is definitely not. This is definitely not him. This is definitely the strikers going berserk. Like, I think it's Sharon. I don't know. I don't know who it is. You can see his damage is okay. It's moving the bar, but not much. I think Blue Marvel is probably the most awkward one of the group because he just doesn't have as much. He doesn't have as many offensive abilities. He's really more about the defensive abilities. I mean, he was always good for content, but he, like, at the time, not anymore, obviously. But he was never, like, real. What the hell? This is definitely not. This is definitely Weapon Hex, Negasonic, and Sharon combined. That's what's going on right now. But yeah, he just doesn't have skills that deal a lot of damage. So you can see that when the bar is moving, like, slowly, that's Blue Marvel. He's much more of a PvP type character. So I didn't want to spend too much time covering him, you know, but I wanted to test him out. I wanted to give him a fair shake. I didn't want to ignore him because he is one of the ultimates, but he is definitely much more PvP focused as a strong character. I mean, he's got, let's take a look here. He's got 70% chance to penetrate naturally. He's got super armor and all defense down. He's got, or sorry, all defense. He's got all damage reduction 70%, which is huge. And then he just has skills that have good iframe priority. Like, he's got a really good iframe priority on 2, and I believe possibly the end or the beginning of 3. And then his 5th skill has guard break immunity penetration, like Jean Grey's 5th skill. So he could be extremely annoying at tier 3, popping that 5th skill and guard breaking you like Jean does with her 5th skill. So yeah, he definitely has much more of a PvP feel. I'm obviously not going to keep the CTP of energy on him, but man, those strikers are insane, and they basically make any character look good, which is sort of a PSA at the same time. You know, the ultimates obviously aren't as strong as they used to be. This video is meant, you know, 90% for fun and for curiosity and entertainment, and there's very little in terms of like you should give these CTPs to these ultimates. No, definitely don't do that. But they can still hang, and they still have value, and it's interesting to see how a character made in 2017 is now being able to take advantage of an obelisk or a CTP that was made in 2019. Now, you could get your tinfoil hats on, but I don't think that Netmarble and the Marvel Future Fight devs had the idea for the CTP of Rage when they designed Nova, because this is like almost 2 years apart. It's not quite 2 years apart, but it's almost 2 years apart. And so it's interesting. His second skill is his best skill. It's on a 3-second cooldown. So if you pop it at the beginning of the CTP of Rage proc and you pop it at the end, you can get it to land twice per rotation. So that's quite interesting. And that does, that does make the future interesting for Nova. As a character who could already, come in and take advantage of really strong PvE CTPs, if he gets a rework, if he gets a buff. With Blue Marvel, it's obviously going to be something like the CTP of Regen, or possibly another defensive CTP. He might be a really good support for something like Insight. We don't know yet, but he's definitely an above average. He'll definitely be an above average PvP character once he gets that, as long as his core ability, 5, and his passive aren't changed. And then Anti-Man, I think I'm just going to keep the CTP of energy on Anti-Man. He's a villain, so he has more value for Shadowland than Nova and Blue Marvel do. I mean, they all have value for Shadowland as universals, but I think just for Anti-Man, I have enough CTPs of energy, and he's a good enough character on his own. I mean, he's not going to be able to do a really high stage, but we can go back quickly. I want to give a little small shout out to Anti-Man. We can go back down to like stage 40. And we can use this team up here, and we can get rid of Negasonic, and we can get rid of Weapon Hex, just so we don't skew the results too much. And we'll put in Deadpool here, or actually, you know what? Let's take Deadpool out. We'll put in Scarlet Witch. So we're not going to get crazy, insane all defense down. We're going to get 40%, I believe 40% from Scarlet, but we're going to get some nice striker damage. And he's extremely hard to play. He can. Oh, this is Blue Marvel. Whoops. There we go. I fixed the team up. So let's see how he does. It's really not that bad. Once we proc, we got to get out of the way. It's really not that bad for a character that was created, almost 2 years ago, or 2 years ago now. It's really not that bad. Yeah, you can see the damage is really not that bad. It's a very tight rotation. He's very, very difficult to play. And he can die instantly. He's got very low defenses, but he's got some really good abilities offensively. He's got some really nice self buffs. He's got accumulation on his first skill. He's got a crazy attack speed and attack buff on his third skill, and he's got the immunity on 1. And then he's got that skill that has the the beam. We're kind of goofing up the rotation here, but he's really not bad at all. He's not amazing, but he's kind of like Cable before he got his uniform. I would sort of compare him to Cable without a uniform. Not a bad character at all. And he, if you check out his passives, he has immunity to cancel. So Anti-Man could become a sleeper for PvP a la Odin. if he ever gets a uniform in a tier 3, because he could be a really good counter to Thanos. Immunity to cancel means that you can't have your shit removed. So it means that even if Thanos uses his all buff removal on the first skill, it doesn't work, as far as I remember. So Ant-Man, Strife, I believe, and Odin are the only 3 characters that have that. No, never mind. Just Odin and Ant-Man. So yeah, look out for that. And then hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you think of the revisited ultimates. Are they good? Are they not? What are you gonna do with them? Are you gonna do anything with them? And yeah, what do you think of the of their gameplay and how they did? Hit me up in the comments down below. Join the Discord. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.